Every morning, as the sun breaks through the horizon, we're faced with a choice: to rise with purpose or drift into the chaos of the day. Imagine tapping into a source so powerful that it shifts the very atmosphere around you. Psalm 5 isn't just a prayer, it's a divine invitation to transform your day. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the weight of the world, or faced challenges that seemed insurmountable? What if I told you that within the verses of this ancient text lies the strength to conquer your fears? Picture this. You stand at the edge of a new day, armed with words that resonate through time, echoing the hopes and struggles of countless believers. Each line is a key, unlocking the potential of your spirit. Can you feel that stirring? It's not just a routine, it's a lifeline. As we dive deeper, consider how these sacred words can reshape your mindset and ignite your faith. Are you ready to embrace the transformation? This isn't just about prayer, it's about awakening the warrior within. Hold on tight, because the journey is about to unfold in ways you never imagined. Contexto Biblico de Salmo 5. As I dive into the verses of Psalm 5, I can't help but feel a sense of weight and depth in its words. This psalm, attributed to David, serves as a heartfelt expression of his reliance on God amidst the chaos of life. It's a beautiful blend of petition and praise, which I believe captures the essence of our relationship with the divine. The context in which it was written is crucial. David, often pursued and threatened, turns to God not just as a last resort, but as his first line of defense. Understanding this background gives the psalm a richer meaning and shows how deeply David understood the importance of prayer. When I think about the significance of Psalm 5, I reflect on how it serves as a template for approaching God. David starts his day with a cry for help, acknowledging his need for divine guidance. This resonates with me because it reminds me that every morning is an opportunity to present my requests to God. It's not just about the words, it's about the attitude behind them, a humble recognition that I cannot navigate life's challenges without divine insight. The urgency in David's plea is palpable, and it encourages me to cultivate a similar fervor in my own prayers. Moreover, the poetic structure of the psalm enhances its impact. It moves from David's supplications to a declaration of God's character, showcasing a transition from personal need to acknowledgement of God's sovereignty. This flow is vital as it reflects my own journey in prayer. Often, I start with my concerns, but find that as I meditate on God's nature, my worries begin to diminish. The psalm illustrates this beautifully, reminding me that prayer is not just about asking, but also about aligning my heart with God's. Another layer of significance in Psalm 5 is its communal aspect. While it is deeply personal, it also serves as a reminder of the broader community of believers who seek God. David's words resonate not just for individuals but for the collective, how we can come together in prayer, lifting each other up. This perspective broadens my understanding of prayer, shifting it from a solitary practice to a communal one, where my prayers can intercede on behalf of others. Lastly, the theological implications of the psalm are profound. It emphasizes God's justice and righteousness, setting the stage for understanding his relationship with humanity. Recognizing that God is not indifferent to our plight, but actively engaged in our lives gives me hope. It reassures me that when I pray, I am reaching out to a God who is not only capable of hearing, but also willing to respond. This context enriches my appreciation of Psalm 5 and encourages me to delve deeper into its teachings. Wow, significado da oração matinal. Starting the day with prayer has become a ritual for me, one that I cherish deeply. The significance of morning prayer transcends mere habit. It's a sacred act of grounding myself before the day unfolds. When I wake up and take a moment to connect with God, I feel a sense of clarity and purpose wash over me. It sets the tone for my day, reminding me that I am not alone in whatever challenges I may face. In that quiet moment, I surrender my plans and worries to God, acknowledging His sovereignty over my life. There's something powerful about the stillness of the morning. The world is just waking up, and in that serene atmosphere, my heart feels more attuned to God's voice. It's a time when distractions are minimal, allowing me to focus solely on my relationship with Him. I find that when I dedicate this time to prayer, my spirit is rejuvenated. The simple act of expressing gratitude and laying my requests before God fills me with a sense of peace that lasts throughout the day. Moreover, morning prayer fosters a sense of discipline in my spiritual life. It's easy to let the busyness of the day push prayer to the side, but by prioritizing it in the morning, I'm making a commitment to nurture my faith. This practice has taught me the importance of consistency in my relationship with God. Every morning becomes a fresh opportunity to reconnect and recommit myself to His will, reinforcing the idea that prayer is not just a one-time event, but a continuous conversation. I've also noticed that starting my day with prayer influences my mindset. When I bring my thoughts and concerns before God first thing in the morning, I approach the day with a different perspective. The worries that once seemed overwhelming become manageable when I lay them at His feet. This shift in focus allows me to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to my peace. It encourages me to rely on God's wisdom and strength, knowing that I am equipped to handle whatever comes my way. In essence, the importance of morning prayer lies in its capacity to transform not just my day, but my entire outlook on life. It's a moment of surrender, gratitude, and connection that shapes my identity as a believer. By starting each day in communication with God, I'm reminded of His faithfulness and love, which empowers me to live out my faith authentically. This practice has become the bedrock of my spiritual life, anchoring me amidst life's storms. Elementos de adoración. As I explore the elements of worship present in Psalm 5, I am struck by how David seamlessly weaves praise into his supplications. It's a beautiful reminder that worship isn't confined to singing or rituals. It can also be expressed through heartfelt prayer. In this psalm, adoration flows naturally from his acknowledgement of God's character. When I read his words, I can almost hear the reverence in his voice, echoing a deep appreciation for who God is. Incorporating elements of worship into my daily prayers has transformed the way I engage with God. When I approach Him with a heart of adoration, my perspective shifts. I find myself reflecting on His attributes, His love, mercy, and faithfulness before bringing forth my requests. This practice helps me remember that God is not just a cosmic vending machine. He is a personal and loving Father who desires a relationship with me. By starting with praise, I am reminded of His greatness, which puts my concerns into perspective. Moreover, the act of worship in prayer cultivates an attitude of gratitude within me. When I take time to acknowledge God's past faithfulness, I am filled with a sense of thankfulness that spills over into other areas of my life. This gratitude becomes a form of worship in itself, transforming my heart and mind. It encourages me to recognize the blessings that surround me, even amidst challenges. Worship, therefore, becomes an integral part of my prayer life, enriching my connection with God and enhancing my overall spiritual experience. The communal aspect of worship is also significant. While my personal prayers are essential, I am reminded that corporate worship amplifies the experience. When I gather with others to pray and worship, there is a collective energy that can't be replicated. Psalm 5 serves as a reminder that we are part of a larger body of believers, united in our adoration for God. This community aspect enhances my worship experience, as I am encouraged and uplifted by the faith of others. Ultimately, the elements of worship embedded in Psalm 5 invite me to engage with God on a deeper level. They remind me that worship is not merely a ritual, but an expression of my heart. When I approach God with reverence and adoration, my prayers become a powerful act of worship. This realization has transformed my relationship with God, leading me to a place of intimacy and connection that I had longed for. It's a journey of discovery, where worship becomes a central theme in my prayer life. Súplica et pétition. The art of supplication is something that resonates deeply with me, especially as I reflect on the heartfelt petitions found in Psalm 5. David's approach to bringing his needs before God is both sincere and instructive. He doesn't shy away from expressing his struggles. Rather, he lays them bare before the Lord. This openness inspires me to do the same. In moments of desperation, I often find myself grappling with how to articulate my needs. But David's example reminds me that honesty is key in prayer. When I think about how to make sincere supplications, I realize the importance of specificity. David doesn't just ask for help, he outlines his concerns, seeking God's guidance in particular areas of his life. This encourages me to be intentional in my own prayers. Instead of vague requests, I strive to present my needs clearly, whether it's guidance in a challenging situation or comfort during difficult times. This specificity not only enhances my prayer life, but also helps me to recognize God's hand at work in my life. Another aspect of supplication that stands out to me is the attitude of humility that accompanies it. David approaches God with a heart of reverence, acknowledging his dependence on God's strength. This humility is a crucial component of effective prayer. I find that when I come before God with a posture of humility, I am more open to his leading and direction. It's a reminder that I am not in control, and that's okay. This surrendering of control allows me to experience the peace that comes from trusting in God's plan. Moreover, I've learned that supplication is not just about asking for help, it's also about seeking God's will in my requests. David's prayers reflect a desire for alignment with God's purposes. This perspective shifts my focus from merely seeking answers to seeking understanding. I am reminded that God's plans are higher than mine, and my prayers should reflect a willingness to accept his will, even if it doesn't align with my desires. This openness to God's direction strengthens my faith and deepens my relationship with him. Finally, the practice of making sincere supplications fosters a sense of community in my spiritual life. When I share my needs with others, it creates opportunities for them to come alongside me in prayer. This communal aspect of supplication reinforces the idea that we are not meant to journey alone, just as David numbered spiritual protection. As I wake up each morning, I often find myself reflecting on the powerful words of Psalm 5. It's almost like a shield I can raise against the uncertainties of the day ahead. When I read this psalm, I'm reminded of the protection it invokes. The imagery it conjures makes me feel that I'm not facing the world alone. There's a divine presence that watches over me, and that thought alone brings a certain comfort that settles over my morning routine. In a world that often feels chaotic, the need for spiritual protection becomes increasingly apparent. When I recite the verses from Psalm 5, I visualize a barrier forming around me. It's as if the words act as a fortress, safeguarding my mind and spirit from negativity and harm. This practice not only serves to calm my racing thoughts, but also strengthens my resolve against any challenges that might come my way. It's an empowering feeling, knowing that I'm actively calling upon God's protection as I step into the day. I've found that using Psalm 5 in this way isn't merely a ritual, it's a conscious choice to seek refuge in God's promises. As I speak the words aloud, I am reminded of the countless times I've felt vulnerable. Each recitation reinforces my belief that God is with me, shielding me from the arrows of doubt and fear. It's a reminder that I am part of something greater, and that assurance gives me the courage to face whatever lies ahead. Moreover, this practice of invoking protection extends beyond just my personal safety. It encompasses my loved ones, my community, and even the world at large. When I pray through Psalm 5, I find myself interceding for others, asking God to envelop them in His protection as well. It's an act of love and solidarity that transcends my individual concerns, creating a ripple effect that resonates throughout my relationships and responsibilities. Ultimately, the spiritual protection I derive from Psalm 5 is about cultivating a mindset of trust and faith. Each morning, as I arm myself with these words, I am reminded that I do not need to navigate life's challenges alone. This reliance on divine protection not only bolsters my spirit, but also allows me to approach the day with a sense of peace and assurance, knowing that I am held in God's embrace. Spiritual renewal. There's something invigorating about the quiet moments of the morning, especially when I dedicate that time to prayer. The act of praying with Psalm 5 serves as a catalyst for spiritual renewal, breathing new life into my weary soul. It's a ritual that clears away the clutter from the previous day, allowing me to start fresh. By immersing myself in these sacred words, I feel my spirit being rejuvenated, ready to embrace whatever the day has in store. As I recite the verses, I often reflect on the connection between my heart and God's divine presence. It's fascinating how a simple act of prayer can renew my spirit and restore my focus. The words become a bridge between my mundane concerns and the sacred reality of God's love and grace. This moment of connection often leads to insights that I wouldn't have grasped in the rush of daily life. It's as if the act of prayer opens my mind to new possibilities and deeper understanding. In today's fast-paced world, finding time for renewal can often feel like a luxury. However, I've learned that these quiet moments in prayer are essential for my well-being. They provide me with the opportunity to recalibrate my thoughts and emotions. With each prayerful recitation, I feel the burdens of stress and anxiety lift. It's a transformative experience that reinvigorates my spirit, equipping me to tackle the challenges that await. The renewal I experience through prayer goes beyond just feeling good. It's a profound shift in perspective. I am reminded of who I am and what I'm capable of achieving with God's guidance. The words of Psalm 5 serve as a gentle nudge, encouraging me to let go of self-doubt and embrace the potential that lies within. This shift in mindset is crucial as I navigate the ups and downs of daily life. Ultimately, the practice of spiritual renewal through prayer is about recentering myself in God's love. It's a reminder that no matter how chaotic life can become, I have a sanctuary in my relationship with Him. Each morning, I find strength and clarity through the renewal that comes from prayer, setting a positive tone for the day ahead. Trusting in God. Every time I recite Psalm 5, I am reminded of the importance of trusting in God. It's a theme that resonates deeply within me, especially when the world feels unpredictable. The words serve as a reminder of God's faithfulness and the assurance that He is always present, even in the midst of uncertainty. This trust is not a passive feeling. It's an active choice I make each morning as I seek His guidance. Trusting in God has been a journey for me. There were times when doubt crept in and I questioned whether I could truly rely on His plan for my life. However, as I engage with the verses of Psalm 5, I feel a renewed sense of confidence. The promises laid out in the psalm remind me that God is not only aware of my struggles, but is also working on my behalf. This realization helps to alleviate my fears and solidify my faith. In practical terms, this trust translates into my daily decisions and interactions. When I approach my day with a heart anchored in faith, I find that I am more resilient in the face of challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I draw on the strength that comes from knowing that God is directing my steps. This sense of security allows me to tackle obstacles with a calm and composed spirit. Moreover, trusting in God enhances my relationships with others. When I acknowledge His sovereignty in my life, I am more inclined to extend grace and understanding to those around me. The confidence I gain from my morning prayers spills over into my interactions, fostering a sense of community and support. It's a beautiful cycle that reinforces the importance of trust both in my personal life and in my connections with others. Ultimately, the act of trusting in God, as I reflect on Psalm 5, is transformative. It's a practice that grounds me in His love and wisdom, encouraging me to face each day with courage and hope. By placing my trust in Him, I not only strengthen my faith, but also open myself up to the countless blessings that come from living in accordance with His will. Chapter 9. The Morning Stillness. There's a unique magic in the stillness of the morning. As dawn breaks and the world begins to stir, I find a profound peace in the quiet moments before the day demands my attention. It's during this sacred time that I turn to Psalm 5, allowing its words to wash over me like a gentle wave of tranquility. The morning stillness becomes a canvas upon which I paint my thoughts, prayers, and aspirations for the day. In these early hours, I often reflect on the importance of silence and solitude. It's a time to disconnect from the noise of the world and tune into the whispers of my heart. The stillness allows me to listen more intently to God's voice, fostering a deeper connection with Him. As I meditate on the verses of Psalm 5, I feel my spirit aligning with His will, creating a sense of harmony that sets the tone for the day ahead. I've come to appreciate how these moments of quiet reflection cultivate mindfulness. They remind me of the beauty found in being present. Life can often feel overwhelming, but taking the time to pause and breathe allows me to regain my footing. In those still moments, I find clarity and focus, enabling me to approach the day's tasks with renewed energy and intention. The practice of embracing morning stillness also serves as a reminder of the importance of self-care. In a society that often glorifies busyness, prioritizing time for reflection can feel countercultural. However, I've learned that these moments are essential for my mental and spiritual well-being. They provide a sanctuary where I can recharge and reconnect with my purpose, ultimately allowing me to serve others more effectively. As I conclude my time of prayer and reflection, I carry the essence of that morning stillness with me throughout the day. The peace I experience lingers, reminding me to return to this quiet space whenever I feel overwhelmed. Each morning spent in the embrace of Psalm 5 becomes a cherished ritual, grounding me in faith and fortifying my spirit as I navigate life's challenges. Step 2. Impact on daily life. The impact of incorporating Psalm 5 into my morning routine is nothing short of transformative. As I make this practice a priority, I've noticed significant changes in my daily life. It's remarkable how a simple act of prayer can ripple throughout my entire day, influencing my thoughts, actions, and interactions with others. One of the most profound changes I've experienced is the shift in my mindset. Starting the day with prayer sets a positive tone that echoes throughout my waking hours. The worries and anxieties that often cloud my thoughts seem to dissipate in the light of God's promises. This newfound clarity allows me to approach challenges with a sense of purpose rather than fear, enabling me to tackle obstacles with confidence and grace. Additionally, the practice of praying with Psalm 5 has deepened my sense of connection with others. As I intercede for my loved ones and community during my morning prayers, I find that my heart expands with compassion. I become more attuned to the needs of those around me, fostering a spirit of generosity and support. This shift not only enriches my relationships, but also cultivates a sense of belonging and shared purpose. Moreover, the mindfulness cultivated through my morning routine spills over into various aspects of my life. I find myself making more intentional choices throughout the day, whether in my work, relationships, or self-care practices. The awareness gained from those quiet moments in prayer allows me to remain grounded and focused, preventing me from getting caught up in the distractions of daily life. Cultivating spiritual discipline. There's something about the early morning hours that just feels different. It's as if the world is still holding its breath, waiting for the day to fully awaken. In this quietude, I've found a unique opportunity to develop a spiritual discipline that has become a lifeline for me. Starting my day with prayer has transformed into a cherished habit, one that I've come to rely on more than I ever expected. Establishing a regular morning prayer routine isn't just about checking off a box on my spiritual to-do list. It's about creating a sacred space where I can connect with God before the chaos of the day unfolds. This discipline has required commitment and consistency, but the rewards have been immeasurable. I've noticed that when I prioritize this time, I approach the day with a sense of calm and purpose. The beauty of cultivating this discipline lies in its flexibility. Some days, I may spend a few minutes in prayer, while other days, I might feel the need to linger a bit longer. I've learned to listen to my spirit and adjust my time accordingly. This adaptability has helped me to stay engaged and present in my prayer life, rather than feeling like it's just another chore. As I delve into the verses of Psalm 5, I find inspiration to guide my morning prayers. The psalmist's earnest cries and heartfelt worship prompt me to reflect on my own life and the challenges I face. It's a reminder that prayer is not only about asking for what I need, but also about aligning my heart with God's will. This deep understanding has enriched my prayer practice, making it a more meaningful part of my daily routine. Ultimately, cultivating spiritual discipline through morning prayer is about nurturing my relationship with God. It's a time to express my thoughts, vulnerabilities, and gratitude. As I've made this practice a priority, I've noticed a shift in my overall mindset. I feel more centered, resilient, and equipped to handle whatever life throws my way. Examples of prayer based on Psalm 5. When it comes to structuring my prayers, I often turn to Psalm 5 for inspiration. The way the psalmist articulates his desires and needs resonates deeply with me, providing a framework that I can adapt to my own life. I found that using the verses as a guide helps me to articulate my thoughts more clearly and connect with God on a deeper level. For instance, I often start my morning prayer by acknowledging God's greatness as depicted in the psalm. Lord, I come before you in the morning, seeking your presence and your guidance. This simple declaration sets the tone for my prayer and reminds me of the importance of starting my day with God at the center. It's a powerful way to align my thoughts with His truth and declare my reliance on Him. As I move through my prayer, I incorporate specific requests inspired by the psalm. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness. Make your way straight before me. These words remind me to seek God's direction in my daily decisions. By framing my requests within the context of the psalm, I'm more intentional about what I'm asking for and why it matters. This intentionality creates a deeper connection in my prayer life. I also take time to express gratitude during my prayers. Drawing from the psalm, I say things like, "Thank you, Lord, for your steadfast love and faithfulness." Recognizing the blessings in my life not only cultivates a spirit of thankfulness, but also shifts my focus from what I lack to what I have. This perspective is crucial, especially in a world that often emphasizes scarcity and discontent. Finally, I conclude my prayer with a commitment to trust God throughout the day. I remind myself of the psalmist's confidence in God's justice and protection. I place my trust in you, Lord, knowing that you are my shield and defender. This affirmation serves as a powerful reminder that I am not navigating life on my own. God is with me, guiding and supporting me every step of the way. Ciao. The role of gratitude. Gratitude has a unique power. It shifts my focus from what I desire to what I already possess. As I started incorporating thankfulness into my morning prayers, I realized how transformative this practice could be. Each day presents an opportunity to pause and reflect on the blessings in my life, big and small, and to express my appreciation to God for them. In the context of Psalm 5, gratitude takes on an even deeper significance. The psalmist begins with praise and acknowledgement of God's goodness, which sets a precedent for how I should approach my own prayers. I've learned to start my prayer by listing a few things I'm thankful for, allowing those positive feelings to fill my heart before I delve into my requests. It's a way of grounding myself in God's love and faithfulness. Not only does gratitude enrich my morning prayers, but it also influences my mindset throughout the day. When I start off by thanking God for His blessings, I find it easier to navigate challenges with a positive outlook. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by obstacles, I remind myself of the goodness that surrounds me. This shift in perspective is not only beneficial for my spiritual health, but also for my mental well-being. Moreover, expressing gratitude aligns perfectly with the themes of Psalm 5. The psalmist acknowledges God's righteousness and love, which inspires me to do the same. I often find myself thanking God for His guidance and protection, echoing the sentiments expressed in the psalm. This connection deepens my understanding of God's character and reinforces my faith in His promises. As I continue to practice gratitude in my morning prayers, I notice how it cultivates a more joyful spirit within me. It's as if each expression of thanks adds another layer to my soul, creating a foundation of contentment and peace. By focusing on what I'm grateful for, I'm able to approach each day with a heart full of hope and trust in God's plan for my life. The influence of prayer on mental health. I've come to realize that the act of praying in the morning has profound effects on my mental health. In a world filled with stress and uncertainty, taking that time to connect with God has become a mental refuge for me. It's not just about spiritual nourishment, it's about emotional and psychological well-being too. Starting my day with prayer helps to clear my mind and set a positive tone for what lies ahead. As I reflect on the words of Psalm 5, I often feel a sense of calm wash over me. I'm reminded that I can lay my burdens at God's feet, which alleviates the weight of worry I often carry. This act of surrender is incredibly freeing and allows me to face the day with renewed energy and focus. Research has shown that incorporating prayer and meditation into our daily routines can lead to reduced anxiety and improved mood. I can attest to this personally. When I begin my day with intentional prayer, I find that I handle stresses more effectively. The peace that comes from connecting with God provides a buffer against the chaos of life, allowing me to respond rather than react. Moreover, the positive affirmations I incorporate into my prayers help to combat negative thought patterns. By declaring trust in God's plan and expressing gratitude, I'm actively reshaping my inner dialogue. Instead of dwelling on fears and doubts, I'm focusing on hope and possibilities. This shift in mindset is a powerful tool for mental resilience. In essence, morning prayer has become a cornerstone of my mental health routine.